Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode number 6 of our Rebuilding Sheffield Wednesday career mode here on EAFC25. You can see in the background just starting off an actual missed transfer request that we had come in for Kai Draper, young centre-back, which we did reject. And then just in background, we did get some more youth players into the youth academy. We didn't promote anyone to the senior squad in this episode, but you can just see some new youth players that we have got into youth academy, some good-looking players there. In terms of their potential, in terms of their overall. So hopefully we can continue to grow them in the youth academy and obviously get them into the first team as the season progresses. We feel like at the minute, barring any injuries or anything like that, we are in a decent place squad-wise. Obviously we know there's a few gaps. We mentioned about the fullbacks in the last episode, but we feel like we're in a good place at the minute with the team, especially sort of midfield and the front three. So no need to really rush into getting anyone into the first team squad now. It's just about developing the players that we've got in the youth academy, and then obviously as and when we need them, we will promote them into the senior team. But just going on to real life Sheffield Wednesday, obviously they did have a 2-1 loss against Leicester, the red card for Barry Bannon as well, but a really good show from Sheffield Wednesday. I thought Leicester were really poor, and I think Sheffield Wednesday made a really good account of themselves, especially with obviously the players that they had and the replacements that they had on the bench, etc. And the fans, obviously they had the protest at the start of the game. Leicester fans clapped them into the stadium, so it was really good to see sort of football united in terms of obviously what's going on with Sheffield Wednesday. And then obviously hopefully that can sort of spur the ownership into obviously selling the club and putting the club into a better position. So obviously first home game coming up this weekend, so we'll see what happens there. But just going into background, obviously we finished the last episode with that really boring game against Portsmouth, which wasn't really fun for anyone to play or view. We were going to the first game of this episode at home against Watford, and you saw there that we did go 1-0 up early on in this game, but we knew, as always with these big teams that have obviously had Premier League stints recently, etc., like Watford have, that it wasn't going to be an easy game. So we knew that obviously we could try and keep obviously the hold of a 1-0 lead and try not to concede. But we were still banging in chances. Really good chance there on the edge of the box with Barry Bannon on the volley, but unfortunately did just go wide of the post. But we knew Watford weren't going to go down, lying down. Bayo, the Watford striker, had a good shot there, but a good save for Pierce Charles, who, just on a side note, had an unbelievable game of the weekend in real life. So big shout out to Pierce Charles there. He's been playing really well for us in his career mode as well, so it's no surprise to me. But it was a Watford striker Bayo, another good chance there. And again, Pierce Charles making another good save and holding onto the ball, even with the big man coming in to try and get the second ball on that. So score stay at 1-0, just over the hour mark. Watford, as I say, we knew they weren't going to go down, lying down. The ball falls to Bar here. We thought that was going to be them pulling the game back to 1-0, but luckily for us, Bar did sweep that one round the post and the scores did stay at 1-0. And then just a couple of minutes later, Watford got another chance here. Again, it's Bayo, plays it into the Watford attacker. I'm not even going to pronounce his name. But again, the defence managed to stand tall there, and Pierce Charles jumped onto the ball, and the score stayed at 1-0. But we did get another chance here. The ball over top. Aykroyd, by using his strength, using his power, gets a good shot away, but a really good save from Watford goalkeeper down to his right, to keep the scores at 1-0. And then we nearly gave away the game at the last opportunity here. We gave the ball away to the Watford attacker. He went through, but luckily for us, he fired the shot. Pierce Charles closed him down really well and managed to get the deflection, so it goes out for a corner. And the final action of the game, ball comes in, Watford win the header, but luckily for us, it wasn't a powerful header, didn't really cause anything, and we managed to clear off the line. But Watford won't stop there. Loser gets the shot in there, unfortunate for him, but obviously another good save from Pierce Charles. Ball falls back out to Loser, falls into Wiley, another good save from Pierce Charles. Really have to keep his concentration here. And then it falls back out to the Watford player with a name I'm not going to pronounce, and luckily for us, we do manage to keep the ball away from our goal before the game ends. So we did manage to get a 1-0 win. Really good win at home for us against that Watford team. And it puts us in a good stead going into the second game against Norwich. You can see a couple of changes here. We've got Thomas coming in central defensive midfield. We've got Kabaki playing on the left wing as well. I think we had Palmer playing on the left back position there as well. So a couple of changes, obviously, with the squad size and with some fitness concerns going on. But hopefully, off the back of that 1-0 win against Watford, we could beat another team at home at Hillsborough and obviously set ourselves on for the final game of the episode, which is the big game, the Steel City derby against Sheffield United. But we had to overcome Norwich first, but unfortunately it was Norwich who took the lead. 9 minutes into the game, Josh Sargent picks the ball up on the edge of the box, fires one in, off the underside of the crossbar, should I say, and gives Norwich 1-0 lead. But we're going to come straight back just a couple of minutes later. Barry Bannon, again, we've mentioned obviously long shots from the edge of the box plenty of times over the course of this series. He gets another shot there, but unfortunately went wide of the post, and unfortunately we couldn't get any more chances before Josh Sargent strolled through and got his second of the game. Another one off the woodwork, inside the post to give Norwich the 2-0 lead. So not looking great for us at the minute. and Norwich were just building here. You can see here, Forson, he manages to beat the defender, gets through, he plays the ball into Josh Sargent, and Josh Sargent fires it past Pierce Charles to get his hat-trick in under 30 minutes of a game. So obviously we're not playing brilliantly, obviously with the changes we've made. I think we've got Kai Drake in the centre-back position as well. So we're not playing brilliant, but Josh Sargent and Norwich are playing really well. But we were still going to keep going. I also got a chance from a corner there, but unfortunately for us, the header did just go wide of the post. And then we got another chance here. Ingleson pulls his way through. Ikugbo, tough angle on his left foot, and unfortunately the Norwich goalkeeper did manage to save it. So it wasn't an easy chance for Ikugbo, to be fair. It was right on the angle and a difficult one to take, but we still showed intent. Obviously, we were still trying to get the shots in, but Norwich came back again. Onel Hernandez, a good shot from him with his left foot, but Pierce Charles doing what Pierce Charles does best and keeping the ball out of the back of the net. And then just before half-time, Jamal Lowe on the right-hand side here, he gets down the byline, plays one across the face of the goal. Kabaki with the initial shot. Could we just take a moment to appreciate that first save from the Norwich goalkeeper to keep Kabaki's first effort out? But unfortunately for him, he made all the effort to that first save, but it fell straight back to Kabaki, and Kabaki just managed to nod that one in to give us a goal back. So 3-1 going into half-time. We knew it was going to be easy. Norwich had played really well, so we obviously knew we need to come out strong. But just 10 minutes into the second half, Forson gets the ball flicked through there after a little decent bit of defending from us, but the ball fell back to Norwich. Forson through and just pokes it underneath Pierce Charles to give Norwich an unassailable 4-1 lead. Made a couple of changes, Cadamateri coming on, Devin Long coming on as well in that right wing spot, and we wanted to obviously get those two attackers in, make an instant impact, and it's Palmer on the left back position here, plays into Cadamateri, ball gets flipped back, and it's Devin Long, first touch of the game for him, for the youngster, obviously recently promoted from our youth academy, and it wasn't the greatest volley to be fair, but he did what he needed to do. He kept it low, kept it on target, and it beat the Norwich goalkeeper to bring the scores back to 4-2. So although we look completely outside of 4-1, 4-2 is a little bit better looking, but again, Norwich weren't going to lie down there. Onel Hernandez coming through, but luckily Pierce Charles makes the save to keep the scores at 4-2 with around about 25 minutes left of this game. So we're obviously looking to see if we could get that 2-goal deficit back. We'd definitely take a draw at this stage of the game, but unfortunately Josh Sargent stayed on the pitch after his hat-trick, carries on scoring goals and gets his fourth of the game, fires it past Pierce Charles with his left foot to give Norwich the 5-2 lead. And again, we're sort of in a position where potentially could have realistically looked to get 2 goals back, but a 3-goal deficit, I don't think that was going to happen, obviously, with the time left. We've got another good chance there for Ingleson, but from distance, the Norwich goalkeeper was too good and managed to keep that one out. And then Barry Bannon here, he plays one out to Devin Long, the goal scorer, plays into Cadamateri. Looks like it's going to be a goal for us, but unfortunately, the Norwich goalkeeper's an absolute fire here and keeps that one out and pushes it wide for a corner to keep the scores at 5-2 for Norwich. Barry Bannon looks to go out to this one, take an in-swing corner on that left foot of his. Lines it up, looks to sort of get to the middle of the box. I also manages to get the header, but unfortunately can't do anything with it. Ball falls to Jan Valery. He looks to get it back to Barry Bannon, who we would look to obviously get another cross in or play it into the centre somewhere. Ingleson tries to play it, but the defender closed him down. Ball falls to Forson, falls to Kronak, and for some reason, I don't really know why, Thomas, the young central defensive midfielder, is the wrong side of the Norwich attacker. Norwich attacker is absolutely through on goal, free space, nothing we can do about it, and fires it past on the counter-attack, fires it past Pierce Charles, and that comeback is even more unlikely now. 6-6 Norwich, and it was only going to get worse from here, if we're being honest. So Kronak again, this man who just scored that goal, plays it to Forson. Forson plays it to captain Signs, and Signs puts it into the roof of the net in that top corner in the last minute of the game to give Norwich that 7-2 lead. So we have the high of a 1-0 lead against Watford, and we came absolutely crashing back down to earth with a 7-2 loss against Norwich, which isn't good for anyone. But for some reason, we did get an international offer off the back of that. So Norway must have some sort of death wish on them, but we did decide to reject it. And you did see there as well, Cadamateri did pick up a small injury, only a 5-day injury, but obviously it keeps him out of this game against Sheffield United in the Steel City derby. And McNeil comes in to the substitute bench saying he's happy to come in if we need him to, obviously in the place of Cadamateri. But obviously a big game, one of the big games we're looking forward to this season is away from home at Bramall Lane, but against Sheffield United, the local rivals of Sheffield Wednesday. And obviously we were looking to really avenge the defeat to Norwich in that 7-2 defeat. We didn't obviously want to go down with another defeat like that. We wanted to come back in a positive space, but we knew Sheffield United, obviously recently relegated from Premier League, weren't going to give us an easy game. And we saw that from the off, really. Sousa has the shot there. It falls out to Callum O'Hare. Callum O'Hare plays it into Cannon. Cannon gets a shot away, but fortunately for us, it goes wide post. So bodies around him from our defence, so it wasn't going to be easy for him. But we obviously needed to try and limit the shots that Sheffield United were having. But they kept coming back at us. O'Hare plays it in through into Burrows, and Burrows with an easy shot from the middle of the box fires it past Pierce Charles to give Sheffield United a 1-0 lead, half an hour into the game. And that is obviously how we knew it was going to happen. we knew Sheffield United were obviously a good team. They've got really good individual players, and we knew at home they were going to have everything behind them. But we got a good chance here. Aikougbo comes through, but unfortunately his shot just gets dragged wide of the post. Tried to obviously keep it on target, but obviously with the keeper closing him down, we knew it was going to be easy. Then Aikougbo in the second half gets another good chance here on his left foot this time, and again unfortunately fires it high and wide over the post. So scores do stay at 1-0 to Sheffield United. But Sheffield United got a really good chance here. Kiefer Moore, again, we've had this problem. We've mentioned it before about our defence, just letting players run through. Kiefer Moore isn't a quick player. He's about 6'7". He's slow, but obviously he's strong. And for some reason, managed to just absolutely breeze past our defence and get through and get the shot away. But fortunately for us, he didn't manage to make most of it. And the ball fell to Souza from the corner. But again, fortunately for us, he put it wide, so the score stayed 1-0. But Sheffield United weren't stopping there. They wanted to obviously put more past us. Kiefer Moore with another good shot there. Again, Pierce Charles making a good save to keep the scores as low as possible. And then sort of 10 minutes before the end, we've got a chance here. Nathaniel Chalobah picks the ball up on the edge of the box, gets the shot away, but unfortunately can't keep that ball down. And it flies over the crossbar to keep the scores at 1-0. But just going into sort of the last 5 minutes, we get a good break here. It was a corner originally for Sheffield United. We get a good break. Campbell lines up Chowdhury. He plays it into McNeil. McNeil could have had a shot himself, obviously be selfish, but he played it into the youngster Thomas, the central defence midfielder, who had an easy tap in to bring the scores back to 1-0. You can see he's absolutely buzzing there. It's his first ever goal in professional football, and against obviously the local lad against the team's rivals is obviously something you can't deny him. So obviously it was only a couple of minutes before the end of the game. We were hoping that was going to be that, but you'll see from this passage of play some really poor defending from us. The conditions weren't brilliant. Players sliding all over the place. Kiefer Moore gets the ball on the edge of the box, 20 yards out, with his weaker left foot and fires that into the corner. So we thought we had the high of getting back to 1-1 in the last couple of minutes with local homegrown boy, but unfortunately Sheffield United absolutely killed us there. They put themselves 2-1 up, and you saw even Chris Wilder was getting involved in the celebrations and jumping in. So you can see how buzzing Sheffield United were, but obviously not good for us at Sheffield Wednesday. We weren't going to lie down, though. We were trying to get back to 2-2 and obviously bring that momentum back into us. Barry Banner with a good shot there, but unfortunately for us, the keeper manages to save it. And then the final chance of the game fell to Sheffield United. The free kick coming in, the header just wide of the post, and the scores did finish 2-1. So I think before the game, expected to lose. During the game, probably expected to lose. Expected to draw, obviously, without a last-minute goal, and then a real down to lose that game in the end. But it's football. That's life. So we'll pick up and move on. But that's going to bring the episode to the end. If you want to, obviously, please like and subscribe. Leave any comments and suggestions down below if you like. Obviously, take care of yourselves, and I will see you on the next one in a couple of days. Thank you. Take care.